Hi, I'm Dave ESPOSITO. I'm a vascular surgeon here at Milford Vascular Institute, and today we're going to talk about part 2 in our series of the silent killers, and that's abdominal aortic aneurysm. To me, silent killers are those diseases caused by atherosclerosis or hardening of the artery that can be deadly, and the deadly thing about them is that we don't know that we have them until it's too late. So abdominal aortic aneurysm is one. An aneurysm is any time any blood vessel in the body becomes bigger than it should be. The most common place to get an aneurysm is in the aorta, and in the abdominal aorta below the kidney arteries is the most common area that we end up having to treat. So that aorta will bulge out and you get an area of the artery that's weak. So this is typically what an aneurysm will look like. So you have the normal aorta and then you get this bulge in the aorta and then it goes back to normal. So that bulge is what's called the aneurysm. And the reason why you don't notice you have it is because the artery is getting bigger than it should, the blood flow through the aneurysm is just fine. So there's no lack of blood flow and there are no symptoms. The problem is that as that artery gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it's like a balloon. Eventually it will get big enough that it will burst. And when the main blood vessel in your body bursts, typically that's a fatal event. There are times where we can save people, but it's very rare. And so obviously we'd like to detect an aneurysm before it bursts, and we'd like to treat it so that we can eliminate that risk of it bursting. So how can you detect if you have it? Well, sometimes if you get lucky, we can find an aneurysm by accident. You may be getting a physical exam by your primary care physician, and sometimes if you're skinny, we can actually feel the aneurysm. Most of the time we detect it when you're getting a test for something else. You go in and you have gallbladder pain, and while they're doing a scan on your gallbladder, they see the aneurysm. So you can get lucky and have the aneurysm detected when you're having tests for other diseases. But the best way to detect it is with a screening exam. Aneurysm can be detected very easily with ultrasound. Ultrasound is a test that's simple, safe, there's no radiation, it's painless. Basically, it's a scan of the belly where we can detect whether you have an aneurysm or not. Those can be done at Milford Vascular Institute. You can ask your primary care physician to send you to have a scan, or you can call Milford Vascular Institute to get a screening exam. It's very important because, again, if we find it early, there are good ways now that we can treat it and eliminate that risk. Who is at risk for developing an aneurysm? Well, it's the same people that have the same risk factors for atherosclerosis. Smokers, people with high blood pressure and diabetes and high cholesterol, people with a strong family history of atherosclerotic disease. There's also a family genetic component to aneurysmal disease. So if anyone in your family has had an aneurysm before, diagnosed in the past, you are at risk, so you should have a screening ultrasound exam. Screening is really the best thing to detect these. Medicare has a screening program, so if you're on Medicare, ask your primary physician about the Medicare screening program for abdominal aortic aneurysm. And if you're not and you want to get screened, just call us. We'll have you in and we'll do it for you. And again, if you have an aneurysm, it's better to diagnose it early. So be safe, get into a screening program, check out, and make sure you don't have this silent killer inside you waiting to explode. So have a good day, and call us here at Milford Vascular Institute if we can do anything to help. Take care.